Hello everyone, LRon here with part 95 of my total Terraria world Annihilation. So, I guess it's relatively safe to say that the leveling system kind of took some plays from the playbook of Skyrim. Um, that kind of segues into my next attack on Fallout 4. Another Skyrimification, and technically also an Oblivionification. The universe repopulates. I mean, New Vegas kind of did that thing where, fire geckos and stuff will randomly come back, but generally, when you cleared a dungeon stayed cleared. Um, in New Vegas and 3 and all that good stuff. But here in 4, it is full-blown Skyrimification. You go in, you clear out an entire factory, you come back 2 days later, and everybody's back. All the items are back. All of the traps that you disarmed have been rearmed, and so on and so forth. This bothers me to death. I was fine with it in Oblivion and Skyrim because it just kind of made sense in that context a bit more. You know, an undead filled dungeon that, has some form of undead curse on it. It makes sense for liches to gravitate and want to come back to there and whatnot. But there's only so many humans in the Fallout world, so where the hell are all these millions of raiders coming to repopulate these places? And then, what about the places that always only have feral ghouls? What's the logical reasoning behind all the traps resetting there? I'm sure that nobody's been down there except for me, in the time that it took to reset, so why are the traps back? It just doesn't make sense, both from a logical perspective, and it's frankly annoying because the Fallout world is so massive that one of my little tricks was, if I see corpses on the ground, I know I've been there. But if everything's respawning, there's no good way to catalog any of this. So basically, when I find a new destination, I have to essentially explore it and completely tap it before moving on and doing whatever it is I set out to do. So, you know, if I decide I want to go visit Glowing Sea for the first time, I'm going to have to stop by at the 50 various locations along the way and actually, make it so that a 15-minute walk becomes a 10-hour exploration expedition. And then, while it is amusing for the player character to actually have a voice, it essentially neutered the concept of having elaborate dialogue options. Historically, you can have an infinite number of things that you could say. I mean, I guess I've seen as many as 10 dialogue options in either 3 or New Vegas, maybe 12. But in 4, because um, all of the player character stuff has full voice dialogue, it all got boiled down to just 4 very vanilla options that are extremely cookie cutter and give your character no sense of personality whatsoever. And also, it kind of makes it so that some of the quests that really should have a ton more options, a lot more compromising and negotiating going on between factions and whatnot. Because there's so limited dialogue options, there's no way to really have it arrange in such a way that you would logically expect to take place. I'll get into this more when I get into the spoiler-filled section, um, because it's hard to tread on those waters without spoiling things. Oh, another thing about the Farmville aspect is they completely took a shit on us arrow key gamers. Um, they made it so that you can't. Well, basically, the way they have it set up is the arrow keys are not remappable for the crafting and placement of Farmville items, because it's 100% dedicated to um, the navigation of the menu system for this, which basically means my arrow keys and everything else on the keyboard and mouse cannot move the character. Luckily, there's a little hack. You can use the I want to run in a straight line button to basically turn on and off walking in a straight line, and then swing the mouse around to steer. Um, I did not find this out until spending 8 hours building a impenetrable wall around my first settlement, and the capacity to move would have probably cut that time in half, because having to deal with that interface without the ability to move your feet is beyond insane. And now, here's another one that's really bugs me to death. Most people probably wouldn't care, but I am particular with these kinds of things. In character creation, they got rid of RGB hair color. In 3 in New Vegas, I made glowing, irradiated purple hair for my character. And there obviously wasn't that option as one of their 10 worthless vanilla templates. Luckily, I eventually found a mod that did actually work. I think I had to wait until people had a few weeks with the creation kit. The mods that were out when I started claimed to work, but didn't really. But in any case, mods to the rescue on that front. They did not give me RGB through the mods, but one of the 10 options they added was a purple that is close enough. It isn't quite how I would have had it, but it's a reasonable compromise given the situation. I think that about does it for my ups and downs of 4 compared to the previous. Next video will highlight my spoilery whatnots. So I will see you there.